All right. Yeah, Victory Monday.
What a Victory Monday. Happy Victory Monday, everybody. How you guys all doing? Feels really good to be here.
How's it going, guys? How you doing, Nick? Proud New York Jets fan. Nick.
I'm happy, man. I'm happy. 7 wins in a season is not something we see very often.
No.
I'm not even playing Madden. I'm not even playing video games, and we got that.
Yeah. We got
That's
the king
true.
of New York, Mike effing White. What are you guys thinking about him?
You go first, Nick.
Optimistically cautious because
thank you.
We saw it last year with the Bengal game, kind of caught them off guard. And then, the Indy game, he got hurt early. We didn't get to see it, but Jonathan Taylor went nuts and we couldn't stop the run. So who knows what that game would have turned into.
Yep.
And then we had the Bill game where when he threw 4 picks, then he had a little trouble pushing the ball downfield. So I'm very cautious on what could be. Now, you look at the remaining games. Every team we play past defense is 18th or lower. I think only one team is 18. Everyone else is 22 and lower.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's lining up where it could be good. We're getting Max Mitchell back. We're getting Fant back. Corey Davis just came back. Looks like Carter, ankle sprain. You don't know if he's going to come back in a week. But Ty Johnson and Bam Knight both looked explosive. So if we can lean on that run game, get that play action going, open up that speed of Wilson and Moore over the middle, I'll be a little more optimistic. But I got to see more than one game against the Bears, missing their entire secondary, before I'm booking a parade down Broadway.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. I have been saying.
I hope he does it. Don't get me wrong. I hope he does well. I was pissed off yesterday. If you, I know you're part of my Proud New York Jet fan group. Yes, I was pissed off, and I was taking out frustration because of the fact I'm aggravated. We might have to hit the reset button again just when things started going so well.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday I was in vent mode, and I'm embarrassed because I always view myself as a level-headed, optimistic Jet fan who doesn't get too high and doesn't get too low. And I was aggravated yesterday.
And I forgot what I saw a lot of different things on that. Why were you aggravated again? Because there's a lot going on that page.
I don't think that Mike White would have. Hey, JR, what's up, buddy? I think Zach would have beat the Bears too. I think Mike White playing well against the Bears with them missing their corners and Jaquan Brisker, and then Jackson goes out.
Gordon too, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's reason to throw a parade yet. So I get the Jets fans. Listen, we are the most hopeful and the most this is the guy fan base that there is. We always want that guy to appear. Mm-hmm. We'll take any nugget and turn it into a filet mignon, right? That's what Jets fans do. Yeah. You throw us a half-chew chicken nugget, we will convince ourselves it is premium steak. And I think that's what we're doing with Mike White. But I want to see more. I'm not against it.
Yeah.
Organization loves him. Players love him. Those are 2 great signs. Not everybody gets that. So I think LaFleur called a very good game for him. I think they mixed in the run well enough. There was less dump-offs than I expected. I will say that. White pushed it downfield a little more than I thought. I like to see what they did. Conklin, the running backs getting involved in the pass game. And then and he took some decent shots and he hit them too, right? And that's the biggest thing. When you take those shots downfield, hit them. And those are game-changing plays. You saw it with Moore, and then you saw it with Wilson on his. So I'm not doing cartwheels, but I am amped up about this week ahead.
Yeah. Well, Nick, I have a question for you too. You mentioned Zach Wilson briefly. I was kind of torn a little. Like I get that he was benched and for like what he said and like the way he obviously performed against the Patriots. Do you think that maybe it would have been better to play him yesterday, maybe as like kind of like a get right game, maybe to kind of boost his confidence a little bit?
If he drills or if he nails the media interview after the game, yes. But I don't think the play is what got him benched. I believe the players getting aggravated about him coming off cocky and arrogant is what did it. You know, football is a sport where when you're the quarterback and you win, it's we and them. When we lose, it's I and me. And he didn't do that. You lost. You only put up 3 points. You only completed 9 passes in an NFL game, and you're like, nah, I didn't let anyone down. That works in mommy's arms. That don't work in the NFL.
But well, see, like the thing that also pissed me off too is what he said later in the week when I think it was Wednesday or Tuesday, whenever he met with the media again. I think it was last Wednesday.
Yeah.
The reporters, they kind of asked him like, do you regret saying that? Like, were you thinking like maybe I shouldn't have said that? He goes, no. He goes, I didn't even realize I said anything wrong until my father spoke to me. So it's like in his eyes, like he didn't even walk away from that being like, oh shit, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Yeah. In his eyes, he said nothing wrong.
I'm sorry, not to cut you off, but later in that interview on Sunday, he did say something about accountability, but that got no airplay because that's not the lightning rod.
Exactly.
He did say when asked about the receiver showing frustration, I'm not going to quote, I'm going to paraphrase, but he basically said, there's some things that I need them to do differently too. We all need to get on the same page together, and we all need to have accountability.
Yeah.
But that never got any airplay because that's not what the New York media does. Yeah. Exactly. You don't want to show the guy.
Samini doesn't care about that.
None of them do. That's the way it is in New York, man. When you're quarterback, you got to be squeaky clean and say the perfect thing, and you got to be dull and you got to be boring like Eli Manning was. And I say that in a complimentary way, not a dig to Eli. Eli Manning was so boring. There was never a story about Eli Manning. You know what I mean? Like if you're banging moms and you're doing this and then you're doing things not football related, getting attention, they're just going to wait for you to do the wrong thing and they're going to pounce.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, and also he did. Also he did say, later in the week he did have a team meeting with everybody, and he did admit.
He addressed them on Monday.
Yeah, and he admit his faults. He admit everything was wrong, and then they're all good with that. But you have to bench him because of those comments, and also he just needs a reset. He's got a case of the yips. He needs a reset. He needs to get that mental block out and needs to continue to move forward. And Mike White, it was a good game, but it was against the Bears. So it's one of those things where now it's like your real thing is coming up against the Vikings and Bills, because like we saw last year, and just like you said, Nick, when it came to Colts and Bills last year, it feels like the same thing all over again, but just take it week by week. Week by week, we will know and we will figure it out, because everything in the NFL is the same like that. Every week it's different. Because Carter, he's injured this week. Who knows if he's going to play Sunday? Corey Davis, he was week by week. Everything changes all the time, but I've been proud of Sal and JD, the way they have dressed every situation with the Jets so far. We haven't had that in over a decade. So I appreciate that.
Agreed. And when you don't forget, we lost Hall and Vera Tucker, I think 6 plays apart.
Yes.
We lost our offensive identity when they went down. We lost our best offensive lineman, who was jumping around playing Chinese fire drill with different positions every week. And we lost our identity on offense with the running back Hall. So then Davis goes down. Then Zach gets the yips, right? Yeah. I think everything with Zach is fixable. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys here. I don't know if it's fixable here, because once you lose the locker room, it might just be time to move on. And you might have to force JD's hand. And listen, Joe Douglas, the roster he's built, he gets another shot at quarterback. There will be a portion of our fan base that says he flopped the number 2 pick. Becton might be gone too. You missed on left tackle and quarterback. Bullshit.
Yeah.
That's got to go out the window. Anybody who throws that out, that Joe Douglas has to go because he missed on this, you don't know football. You don't know what you're talking about. The fact that he built a playoff caliber roster without a quarterback gives him whatever time he wants. And
he also fixed the cap. The cap, it was horrendous. And the way he adjusted the cap, the way he let Saleh bring in his own guys, because some of the GMs like to bring in their own guys. And also I give credit to Woody Johnson and the Johnsons. They let them have their roles too, that, hey, I'm not going to get involved like Jerry Jones has with the Cowboys. So it's one of those things where I agree with you.
Don't forget, they did for a while. They
Yes,
wanted
they
Bell.
did.
They wanted the splash plays. They wanted Mosley. They wanted Tebow. They wanted Favre. The Johnsons were very big on getting guys that put asses in the seats. And not to get political, but it's a football joke. The greatest thing to ever happen to the Jets was Trump becoming president, because Woody Johnson went to UK for 4 years and took his hands off the team. And what happened during that
you're
time?
right.
Now you're right.
A lot of people knock
Yeah.
Adam Gase. I'm thankful for Adam Gase, because Adam Gase pushed the hardest for Joe Douglas. So we suffered with Gase, but Gase got us Joe Douglas, because Gase was the one swinging the hammer saying, we need to get this guy in here. I worked with him in the Bears. He's fantastic. He's amazing. Get him in. And they hired him at the end of May or beginning of June or whatever it was. Right. No one
After
takes
draft,
a GM job at that time, because it's basically a lost season.
Yeah.
So
and their friends too. Yeah.
That's why he got a 6-year deal, because the first year wasn't even his. Having the Scamper to bring in like Ryan Khalil to play center, trying to patchwork this team together.
But when's the last time a Jets general manager has actually knocked the team down to the studs? Like, we were barren just a couple of years ago. For the first, we had no talent. We were shipping Le'Veon Bell out. We had no real legit talent. And it's just the way that he's rebuilt his team. Yeah, you could say the 2020 draft class is a bust. At the time, they were good picks. Obviously the draft is a crapshoot. Nobody's banking on Mekhi Becton getting injured a million times. Nobody's banking, on this guy getting hurt and that guy. Whatever happened. It's just the way that he was able to knock the organization down to the studs and rebuild his actual vision. And now we're seeing tangibly his vision.
Yeah,
you got to give him credit for it, man. Have to.
I said for several years that the only way we were ever going to succeed was a complete teardown. And when we had, going back to when Mike Tannenbaum was the GM, he valued veterans. He valued proven commodities rather than with the draft. And there were years where we traded for Braylon Edwards, Santonio Holmes, other players. We were throwing away mid-round picks, and we went all in. And we got to the AFC Championship twice. But what happened after that? In 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, we had no depth, because we gave away all those mid-round picks, those 3, 4, 5s, and 6s.
Like the LA Rams are doing.
We missed on Calvin Pryor. We missed on D. Milliner. We missed on Quentin Coples. We missed on so many of the picks that we had, that we didn't have any guys like a Bryce Huff coming in, or a Breece Hall, or a Mims in the middle round, right? Or all the other guys that we've had. We had guys like Lorenzo Malden, who just in 2 years were gone. So the fact that Woody wasn't here and wasn't pressing to sell tickets, because there were a lot of tickets not sold the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
But I think Joe Douglas went to Chris Johnson with the plan and said, the plan is this. The plan is we're not overspending. We're not getting into long-term contracts. We're not doing 5 years, $85 million for a middle linebacker. We're going to strip it down. We're going to build through the draft. We're going to trade away commodities that don't want to be here or don't fit what we're going to do. We're going to take those picks and we're going to build a legitimate, deep, talented NFL roster. And if you take away the quarterback position, you could say the Jets have a top 5 roster in the NFL right now. And that's because the Johnsons backed the fuck off and gave Joe Douglas the ability. It's Joe Douglas's organization. All he does is say, sign here, sign here, sign here. Joe Douglas, after this year, should get promoted, head of football operations, president, whatever other title you want to give him. It's his organization to run. Let him run it.
I agree.
All right, so let's switch to the game. Jets versus Bears. It was a rain fest.
Yeah,
pouring out. I had the opportunity to have tickets. I went upstate to visit, so I wasn't there. But I'm kind of glad I wasn't there, because I would hate sitting out in the rain for that. But
I'll be completely honest with you guys. I had a ticket offer from Gino. I think you know him, Liam. I don't know if you do. Dom C goes on with Jeremy all the time. Dom offered me a ticket, and when I heard that Mike White was in, I let some other plans. I declined the ticket and told Dom thank you anyway. But I got some other things I'd rather take care of. I didn't want to go sit down in the rain and watch Mike White. I'll be honest. I was bitter and sour last week about Zach. I'll be completely not just so much Zach as it was, like I said earlier, resetting the quarterback button again. So I was just like, I don't want to deal with it. Like if it was 65 and sunny, maybe I would have went. But the weather on top of it, I was just like, I'm out. I'm like, tag me out.
Yeah, I mean, I was at the Halloween game, the Bengals game with Mike White, and that's kind of how I felt. Like I was bummed out. I mean, obviously, the rest is history, and that game landed Mike White in the Hall of Fame. Like that was a great, my favorite Jet memory, hands down. And I was looking forward to him this week. I really was. Like I think some people were down on him a lot more than I was, and a lot of people were like very negative towards him. And like you said, like I was just pissed off. Like I'm feeling like Zach's not the guy, and this is like kind of like you. It's like starting over again. But like I have faith in Mike White, and like I think he can be a starter moving forward. I mean, it's just the way he runs this offense. 22 for 28, 315 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. And like everybody else is saying, he's making the easy look easy. He's throwing the checkdowns. He's taking the checkdowns. He's letting routes develop. He's standing in the pocket. He's doing everything that Zach Wilson is not doing. And it's Mike White's job to lose. I don't see a way that you stop playing him. I think he's earned the Vikings game. I think he's earned the Bills game.
Mm-hmm.
If he goes out and like he has a shit fest for these next 2 games, then yes, you consider putting Zach Wilson back in. But if he plays competent and if he ties, if he loses either against the Vikings or the Bills, and maybe he could squeak one out, I think you got to keep rolling with him. And if he gets hot, then you got to roll with him all the way into the playoffs.
100%.
Week by week.
The only way I see Mike getting out is if Mike gets injured, knock on wood, or if he throws up a Zach Wilson against the Patriots game, right? If it just looks completely lost, missing open wide receivers, 4 picks, we lose 30-3. New York.
Zach Wilson showed us what the floor is. Like why don't you have more than 4 yards of offense in the second half, and why don't you throw for more than 77 yards?
Greedy, Liam. You're a greedy fan, aren't you? You want more than 4 yards and a half of football? What kind of
Who the hell do I think I am?
It's lower those expectations, bro. 3 is good enough. Who needs 4?
4, yeah, I am. I know.
Well, I think it's an interesting stat.
Competent football.
Yeah,
it's his, and like I said, as long as he doesn't get injured, I think it's his the rest of the way out. And I really think that the Jets make a move. Now, I saw something today. Somebody shared in a comment on Twitter, a comment of another post. It was if the Jets move on from Zach, it's $21 million next year. How bad do you want to get rid of him? If it's he lost the locker room and we're not even going to bring him back, you bite that bullet and then you do it to save face for the rest of the organization. Because don't forget, all of these players recruit other players, other free agents.
Elijah
Moore. You look at our defense, and you look at Sauce, and you look at Quinnen, and you look at DJ Reed, and you look at the offensive line. And you look at Wilson, and you look at Moore, and you look at Breece Hall, and you look at Vera Tucker. You don't want your guys going to their guys and be like, yeah, but Zach, I don't know what's going to be of this. It's going to be dramatic. It's going to be awkward. You want them saying, yo, we got a guy we love. We got a guy we're going to play for. We got a guy who can lead us. They're going to bring in a veteran to compete with him. But we believe in this dude, and you should be a part of this. That's huge. Yep. But if you got animosity towards the guy who might be the guy, you're not going to put your name and your word on the line and go and recruiting other people and bring them into a weird situation. That's why I think Zach is done with the Jets. I don't think he's done in the NFL. I just think he's done with the Jets.
Especially if you're ready to win now.
I don't think he's done with the Jets. I don't really see a situation in which they're moving on from after this season. I don't see it.
All right, let me throw a question at you. You've thrown a few at me. Let me throw one at you.
Sure.
Can you see any situation where you go into it where Zach could be labeled as a starter or competing for a starter? Or do you think he just resorts to a backup and that's it? And people have to know in March when free agency starts or February when you're re-signing your own, he's going to be a backup. He's not the man.
I think that depends on Mike White, how far he takes us. If we could have a run in the playoffs and he looks competent, and I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit here and say Super Bowl, but
That's
Yeah.
fair.
you
Yeah, that's fair.
never know.
That's fair.
It's
To be determined, right? Like
It's
it's
to be
too soon to
determined.
tell. We have
the
one
way
game against the
here's
Bears.
the way I'm looking at it. The way I'm looking at it, in all honesty, is there's not an offense in the NFL that I'm afraid of right now. And defense wins championships. I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
With that being
Okay.
said, if let's say, I don't know, we win 2-3 playoff games, and Mike White, he looks competent. Maybe one interception, 200 yards, 200 plus,
We win 3
and
playoff games. We're in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
two Super Bowl games. You're right. Yes,
I did the math.
absolutely.
We win 2-3 playoff games. We're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah, however many it is. I didn't do the math, but whatever.
I'm all in then. I'm all in. I'll just say for the record.
Yeah. But let's just say we're in a playoff game, and whatever. We're just playing a team. They're just better than us.
Okay.
We're a young team. Garrett Wilson's inexperienced as well as he's playing. Maybe Sauce gets burnt. Whatever. Nothing crazy. Mike White looks competent. Do you go in next season needing a veteran backup, or do you kind of trust Mike White and you let them kind of battle it out?
Yes.
Yes.
If you're going with Mike White, I think you let Zach go, and then you're probably letting Beckham.
You wouldn't even keep Zach as a backup?
No, I would go for Jimmy G. I would go for Jimmy G.
Jimmy G's fair.
I would go for Carr. I would go somebody who's a calming presence.
Minshew too. That's an option.
Minshew's not bad. He could run our system. He's not as mobile as I like. Jimmy G's a little better on the bootlegs.
Yeah.
And he just has that connection with Salah too.
And LaFleur. LaFleur was a
Both
quarterback.
Both of them.
So I think, and don't forget, and I'm not going to make football sound weird, Jimmy G is a fucking model playing quarterback. You don't think he wants to go into the New York market to sell his brand for after football?
Oh,
he's
absolutely.
out in San Francisco, and he's a heartthrob of women and some men in this country.
And he faced against the Patriots 2 times a year. Patriots 2 times a year too.
Yeah.
I'm sure he wants to kick Belichick in his balls.
Yeah.
Hell
yes.
Sign up for that.
Come to New York. LaDainian Tomlinson did it. Damian Woody did it. You
Jason
look at all
Taylor.
these guys who came to New York and catapulted their careers post football into the media. Mark Sanchez is one of the best commentators on Fox, and he got killed in New York as a quarterback, but he made his name in New York, so now he's a national name. So I would have no issue with a Mike White, Jimmy G combo next year with Streveler as the third.
You don't see a situation in which Mike White starts next season if they don't bring it, like if it just comes down to let's say we don't bring in a veteran. If it comes down to Zach and Mike White, and Mike White looks good in a playoff game or two, do you see a situation in which Mike White is starting next year, or do you think if we don't have a backup, it has to be Zach?
I think it's Mike's job to lose right now, to be completely honest.
Yes.
Because the love the players showed for him are going to spread
they're rallying for
wildfire. And
Absolutely.
if you go and you win one of these next 2 games, and then you beat Detroit, and you beat Jacksonville, and you beat Seattle, and you compete with Miami in the last game, and you end up the 6th seed, and then you get a good draw, like maybe you get the Titans, somebody that could be low-scoring game, defensive game in the playoffs. Maybe we win a game, right? So it's to be determined, right? Like this was one game on 5 days' notice. So LaFleur getting Mitchell back, Bam Knight working his way in. What's going to happen? There's a lot of things to be determined, but there's a lot of reasons to be cautiously optimistic, like I said earlier.
Yes.
I'm not putting the carriage before the horse. I'm not going Super Bowl talk. I'm just saying that if we had Breece Hall and Vera Tucker, I'm talking Super Bowl every goddamn show. Yeah, but we're not there. Like we're on the cusp of being that team. We'll be the sexy pick next year for a team that can surprise people and make it.
Agreed. No, I agree 100%. Here's a JR commented, do you think we failed Zach like Sam, or did Zach dig his own grave? What do you think about that, Nick?
I'm a Sam guy. I was a very, very big Sam guy.
Okay, gotcha.
And I feel that the organization did not put the pieces around Sam to succeed, which added, you had Adam Gase, and then you had awful Frank Gore running 8 yards deep in the backfield, running dives every freaking first and second down. I don't think he did enough to. But once the fan base and the media in New York turn on you, you got to go. Like not many people have the resolve to bounce back from that. I think Zach was his own worst enemy. His footwork was bad. And when his footwork's bad, and when you throw in the NFL, and I'm throwing this way, you want to be turned, get your hips into it, and whip, right? That's how you get your body, you get your torque, you get your arm speed, and you deliver on time. That's how you're taught to throw. When you're backing up and your feet are bad and your feet are facing like this, and then you dip, when your elbow gets low, the ball's going to sail. How many of Zach's throws have gone over? They go over or they go short because then his elbow's too high and he slams it into the ground like a Gronk spike.
Yeah.
Zach's mechanics were so poor that it affected here. And then he's second guessing himself. Can I make this throw? You don't have time in the NFL to play quarterback and second guess yourself. You gotta be Brett Favre. You gotta not give a shit what you think. Just read it and rip it. And that's what made Favre so great, is he could throw 4 interceptions and then throw 5 touchdowns in the second half and win the game because he didn't care about the throw. He just knew I can make every throw. So when you doubt yourself, you're not going to succeed as a quarterback in the NFL. And that's, I think, the issue with Zach. But now the comment is more the issue than the mechanics, because now the comment what lost the team, not the mechanics.
Yeah. Now the team doesn't even want to have his back. But see, like the problem with Zach also is he doesn't want to play boring football. And he's even said, I'm bored. He said it more than once. I was bored out there. He wants to be all over the
This ain't the
exactly.
system.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
And, and shame on the Jets for not knowing that sooner then, right?
Yeah. He wants to be all over ESPN, throwing. He wants to be the one throwing that 54-yard touchdown pass to Garrett Wilson. Like, that's fine. Like, you want that. He has the arm talent to do that. But that's not the NFL is. For every highlight, there's 10 boring plays. There's 20 checkdowns. It's just the way it is, man. It's
yeah. You're 100%.
You're not going to be all, So it's like he's
100% right.
And like, see, like the thing with Sam is like you could argue like
Giants
Sam
beat the
Darnold.
Patriots in 2 Super Bowls playing boring football.
Yeah.
They played boring football. They sent the 4-man rush. They bored the fuck out of everybody, and they got 2 rings out of it.
Yeah. So I don't understand like what his problem. I don't understand why can't we? Why can't he do that? And
the new generation.
I never thought that like this early on he'd be so far into his head, because we saw what Sam Darnold like at the end of his Jet career, that he was bad in his head. You could also like we damaged Sam. I often like wonder like what Sam would look like in this offense with Saleh and like with Garrett Wilson and Corey Davis. I wonder about that sometimes, but it's like Sam Darnold in his second year was not as bad as Zach Wilson is in his second year. It's not even close. And I'm not one to compare the two, because you can't compare it, night and day. But if you're looking at former Jets quarterbacks, Zach Wilson is on pace to be the worst Jets quarterback possibly of all time, starting wise. I mean, we've had Luke Falk, we've had Trevor Siemian, we've had some bad quarterbacks too, but like none of them were high draft picks that we bought in expecting to be our franchise quarterback. Just crash and burn so quickly.
Very good point.
It's like Jamarcus Russell with the Raiders, kind of that situation a little bit,
minus the $72 million contract.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Nick,
that was when rookies used to be able to get massive contracts before even playing a game in the NFL.
Exactly.
Dan Bradford, Jamarcus Russell, those guys were
even Johnny Manziel. I remember
exactly when Bradford drafted with the Rams when I was there, and even when he went to the Vikings, even when he went to the Cardinals, even when he went to the Eagles, me and my dad, when we saw all this firsthand with our own eyes, he was one of the most successful at getting a big contract that's made of glass.
Yeah. Like Jamarcus Russell's claim to fame was throwing the ball from the 50-yard line on one knee through the goalpost. Like, when the hell are you ever running that play in the NFL? What is that worth?
Yeah, exactly. Nick,
what are you thinking about our defense, real quick? Oh yeah, shit, it is half an hour. All right, yeah, Nick, you want to wrap it up?
Oh no, I'm a defensive coach. I'll talk defense for a minute.
All right, Liam, go ahead.
What are your thoughts on defense?
I'm very worried about the checkdowns and the tackling. Like Quan Alexander, Whitehead, even Quincy at times. Can you learn how to wrap? Like, wrap the guy's legs. Like I taught kids for 7 years how to tackle and Pop Warner. I never said blast the guy with your forearm and hope he falls down, and when he bounces off, you're screwed. It's not in teaching tackling technique. So there's a lot of bright spots on our defense. Huff, JJ, Lawson, Quinnen, JFM. Clemens is getting after the quarterback a lot. Nathan Shepard's giving himself up and being very selfless. I don't know if you guys saw last week, Robert Salah talked about Nathan Shepard and said that we wanted him back because he's buying into what we do. On the D-line, we need guys who are selfless and give themselves up and don't necessarily get the stats, but will do what we need for everyone else to succeed, and that's Nathan Shepard. Mosley, I'm not big on Mosley because I feel Mosley is jogging downfield, waiting for someone else to go at a player, and then they cut back, and then he catches them from behind and gets 5 tackles a game like that because he doesn't play it right.
He had a nice diving interception in the end zone yesterday.
He did. But I'm talking about plays in the open field. Like he'll miss the guy and then have to dodge from behind, and when someone makes him cut, then he catches him. He gets credit for a tackle, but it's 27 yards downfield. Joyner, I dogged Joyner after the Raven game, and he's bounced back very nicely. Had a massive game against Pittsburgh 2 weeks later. Yeah. Joyner's played better. Michael Carter in the slot. There's been a couple times, very rarely, maybe once a game, he gets exposed on on a play and gets beat. But when you're not hearing your nickelback's name 10 times a game, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So, sauce is sauce.
Junior, I didn't miss Riverstein. I'm repping his jersey.
You're right. Nice. Right. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Sauce got to get less handsy.
That worries me.
The Gabe Davis play, he was on. The Cortland Sutton play at the end, he was on. I mean, it's good for us as Jets fans because how many times have we been on the other end of that and we don't get the call? But now you're looking at Sauce and you see Sauce, and he's got the respect of the officials already as a rookie. And the league knows this kid's going to be a superstar. So, but you got to be careful. Like you can't have your hands on everyone. You got to look when the receiver's hands goes up, you swipe your arm and you go up with it. It's simple. Yeah. So he's grabbing a lot on the back of the jerseys, and I don't know if they're just letting him play or if they're letting him be a marquee player, which would be great because we haven't really gotten that in a long time.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, I'm excited about the defense. I think we are a young, athletic linebacker away from really being amazing. I think that's our biggest weakness is over the middle dumps. We saw it with Stevenson with the Patriots. Even Montgomery had a few. Montgomery's not known for really catching the ball and getting downfield, and he had a few. I'm really happy that they didn't have Khalil Herbert because his speed would have annihilated our linebackers.
Oh,
yes.
So that was a blessing in disguise.
Maybe we need to pick up a safety too.
I think next year our first 3 picks have to be center, linebacker, and safety. No particular order, but center, linebacker, and safety. We got to get strong up the middle. We got the playmakers. We got to get strong right up the middle.
Yep.
That's what I've been saying, and I'm great that you said that because people have been saying is Sherwood can Sherm be that guy? What do you think? Do you think Sherm is that guy to be the next big time linebacker? Or do you think we still need to go out and get someone else? Sherwood.
Oh, Sherwood.
Yeah.
To be determined, right?
Right. That's what I think too. Yeah.
And I trust Salah and Ulbrich to know this scheme because all the fans that wanted Ulbrich fired in the offseason, I was telling them all, it's not happening. The scheme's not changing. You're not blaming Ulbrich. The talent has to get better. And when the talent gets better, that's when Ulbrich will look like a genius and you're all going to look silly. And what's happening now?
I look like a big moron.
Yeah, you did.
I wanted him fired. I did.
But it doesn't matter. You weren't bringing in Rex Ryan because Salah wanted to run his scheme. So you're not bringing in somebody to run a different scheme. Salah said, this is our scheme. We're running it. And that's why Ulbrich didn't get fired because it was about the talent getting better. And I've screamed for years that once Quinnen Williams has an edge presence, you're going to see an all-pro type of player, and we are.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, Nick.
Sorry, JR. I'm sorry I missed on the big Sherm. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah, this guy.
Anything else? I got a few
JR.
more minutes if you want anything else to cover.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, we're gonna keep on going.
You watching the game on the phone? They're watching the game on a phone, so I got a few more minutes if you want to ride.
That was me yesterday, man. I was riding through the mountains, watching the game on my phone, and it sucked, but I had to pull through. You know.
He was in Buffalo country, Nick. He was in Buffalo country.
Where do you live normally?
I live on Long Island, and
Okay.
my girlfriend goes to school up there, so
Okay.
I went up and hung out with her for the weekend. And when they say like upstate is like Bills country, holy shit, it is. Like I was at the Buffalo Mall, and like there's like 2 Buffalo like Bills stores. Like you can't find anything Jets at the Dick's Sporting Goods, nothing. No Giants, Jets, nothing. It's straight up Bills. Strange.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking like Black Friday, maybe I get some like some stuff for like cheap or whatever. Like I was all excited. Nope.
Yeah.
Not a damn thing.
It's Blue Friday up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Nick, what do you think
Weird
about
that you mentioned? Excuse me, real quick. Weird that
Yeah.
you mentioned that. The Buffalo Jet fan just messaged me and says the Bills are all dying of a stomach bug ahead of Thursday night. So
Yeah.
Bill Belichick strikes again.
He always does. He always.
He poisoned the turkey or turducken the other day.
So yeah, he had he had lunch with Mims.
Yeah.
What's
All
up,
right,
Gino?
what else?
I'm sorry.
One more. What do you got?
The coaching staff on how it's doing so far, the progression that it's been. Where do you like the progression that's been with the coaching staff all the way around? It could be special teams, offense, defense, head coaching. Do you like the way they've handled everything so far?
Yes, because they're true to who they are. And in the day and era of trying to be people pleasers and trying to please the media and trying to please ownership, there's something to be said about people who believe in themselves, believe in what they bring to the table, and believe in what they know is best. And last year, people wanted Salah fired. They wanted LaFleur fired. They wanted Ulbrich fired. You know, Boyer, the special teams coach, has like a lifetime contract, so he's good. But, you know, they knew what their plan was. And if you have any doubts about this, go back and listen to Rex Ryan, who ridiculed the Jets, had a phone conversation with Salah, went on First Take or whatever show he's on ESPN. I don't watch ESPN, but I've seen the clips.
Yeah.
Went on the next morning and said, I believe in Robert Salah. He's got a plan. I'm not going to tell you what the plan is, but we talk like coaches, and I really believe this is the right guy for New York. And it is. And I knew Robert Salah would be the right guy the minute he said this. Not going to call the defense. I'm going to head coach the entire team. I'm going to bring someone else in to coach the defense.
Yep.
And that was when I knew we had the right guy, because he was seeing things big picture, right?
Yeah.
Case was on offense, defense on the field, looking at his play sheet. Rex, same thing. You know, Todd Bowles called D, didn't call D. Like, it went back and forth. There was never any consistency in the organization. There was never any pecking order, right? It wasn't the olive branch or the coaching tree. You're seeing that now. Salah can walk into the offensive meeting and be like, you know what? Mike White's the guy. Mike LaFleur, make this shit work. I'm out. I'm going to the defensive room. Go over there. When Rex would just be in the defensive room, you can't then make those decisions on Sunday. Oh, we're going to go for it on 3rd and 3. Run this play. No, you're not a part of this. So
Right.
we got a leader. And when I see Robert Salah, I see Mike Tomlin. I see a guy who players respect. I see a guy that players will listen to.
Absolutely.
I see a coach that loves his players. I see a coach that will care about his players. And that's what you see with Mike Tomlin, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, Mike Tomlin loves his players. You know, his players love him. So I think we got the right guy. And I hope to God the quarterback situation gets worked out. And if I'm still here in 20 years at 64 years old, I hope to God Robert Salah is still our coach with multiple rings.
But see, like the good thing with Robert Saleh too is he's like a little, like you kind of said, he's like a little bit of everything. He's a CEO type head coach, you know. He's a leader of men.
Yes.
He's a player's coach,
Yes.
And he's also not afraid. He has balls too. He's also not afraid to bench the second overall pick from just a year ago.
Yeah.
Which that speaks volumes. It really does, because like a lot of head coaches wouldn't do that. A lot of head coaches would kind of go down with the quarterback. Zach's our guy, whatever. Robert Saleh, he cares about the entire team. He doesn't care if he's going to hurt Zach's feelings.
Yeah.
He's here
He's
to do
not
a
going to
job.
cut off
He's here
his
to
nose to spite his face, right? Like that
face.
old adage. It's simple, right? But he knows long term, I can't lose this locker room. I can't lose the fan base. I can't lose the media. And he's done a very good job out of it.
Yeah, and he's showing that like he has all the tangible qualities of a NFL head coach.
Agreed.
So I'm super excited for him, man. I haven't been this excited for a head coach even since Rex, and even like Rex, he would bother me as much as I love him. He would bother me sometimes too with some of his idiotic comments at times. He pumped me up, but like,
Agreed.
a
quick, real funny Rex story. I remember it was either 2012 or 13. Or maybe 12. It was the end of the season. We lost. And it was like New Year's Eve or something. And my girlfriend and I at the time were out running around doing last minute errands. And since the Jets were out of it, we listened to the game on the radio. And ESPN radio went live to the locker room after the game. And we were in a parking lot at ShopRite in Sayreville. And I'll never forget that Woody Johnson announced to the team that Rex Ryan was staying as coach. And even though they just lost and the season was over, the locker room erupted. I erupted in the car. Like that's how I feel about Robert Saleh. I really feel that this is the guy to lead this team to where we need to get. And whenever you have a pass rush and you can dominate the offensive line and you can win in the trenches, you always have a chance in the NFL, no matter who the quarterback is. If you can't dominate the trenches and you can't send four and get to the quarterback, you don't have a shot in this league.
I don't think Rex really ever even had a pass rush.
No, he created it.
Yeah.
It was smoke and mirrors, right? Because you had Revis and Cromartie. Revis and Cromartie generated the pass rush by shutting people down. Mm-hmm. Now you could say it's the opposite. Our pass rush is feeding the secondary, which is better. Because if you can get home in 2.5 seconds and you can cover for 2.5 seconds, you have a chance in every game.
Right.
So,
all right, Nick, I appreciate you staying on for a couple extra minutes.
No worries.
Before we wrap it up,
not to light the victory cigar.
Yeah, there you go.
Real quick, where can everybody find you on social media?
YouTube, Proud New York Jets fans. Twitter, same thing, no spaces, Proud NYJ fans. Facebook, Nick Shine Jr., and also Proud New York Jets fan on Facebook. Excuse me. You can search us out. Matthew Smith, what's up, buddy? He's a good friend of mine that's seeing all the time. JR here too, who I recognize. But yeah, anybody else? Friday nights, we usually do a hangout. We have a couple people on. Buffalo Jet fan, Adam Y2K, Jeremy Jets Chaos. Gino's going to come on. Liam, you have an open invite too if you're available on Friday nights, 8:30, 9 o'clock usually. Hit me up. Gino, send him my contact info and link us up. So
gotcha.
And, Friday nights I get out of work at 10, so I'm normally out like a little bit later.
There's been times we've gone to 3 o'clock in the morning. We've done 6-hour shows on Friday night.
It's
hanging at the bar, talking. It's not highly structured. There's a lot of that's what she said jokes. It's a great time. Friends hanging out. We roast one another. We talk Jets. In the off season, I do lists. I'm a big list guy. Top 5 this, top 5 that. We do different lists all the time.
Yeah, so, I've been on once. Yeah,
it's fun.
It's an awesome time.
Yeah, it's a good time, man. Definitely come check us out. Come hang out, and everyone, and hopefully I'll see you guys again.
Appreciate you giving us your time, man. Appreciate
Anytime, man. I love talking this team, especially when we win.
Yeah,
absolutely. We'll have you back on again, man. No doubt.
All right, be good, boys. Go Jets.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate you, man.
You got it, man. Anytime.
But
stay on, Gino?
So I was thinking, we stay on for like 15 minutes. Overall, I love Nick's insight. I love what he said. Everything he said is spot on the way I feel.
Absolutely.
Week by week, day by day, everything changes all the time. And I love the comments. We appreciate everyone on the comments, by the way. Matthew, Vinny, Abby, JRB, and then Jeffrey, and then Gotham City Crew. We appreciate you being on as well. Saunders Clark. Who else I got? in NYJ, man, love that. But yeah, all the comments, Dakota, Abby, appreciate everyone with the comments. But overall, it feels like
Not to
last
cut you
year.
off, but we're missing a very noticeable chat member tonight. I don't know where he
Elmo,
is.
he's not here yet. Do you see
Yeah,
him?
I wonder where. No, I'm saying I wonder where he is.
Oh, I don't know.
Huh.
I don't know where he's at.
I notice when he's not here now.
Yeah, I know.
That's what it's coming to.
I'm happy. Sometimes he's away. Sometimes he's here. It's mixed
He's
feelings.
probably on Let's Talk Jets, to be honest with you.
He's on. Here we
I
go.
wanna.
Here we go. He's on Let's Talk
Yeah,
Jets.
told you.
Yeah.
I
was
went
just
on to
there.
Let's Talk Jets sometime last week, and
Vinny,
he was
Vinny's
there.
got it. Vinny's got it. But yeah, overall, it's a day by day, week by week. I mean, he was good last year with the Bengals, and then the next 2 games he got injured, and he didn't do as well. So that could easily be him, again. But he does give us the best chance to win right now because of the yips with Zach Wilson. I'm not saying Zach Wilson's career is over as a quarterback in the NFL, but with the Jets, it's like my buddy the Jets show has said. He's at the door. We're knocking, but we're not going to go through it yet. You're almost there. But it's Mike White's job to lose. He's doing very well, but it was against a banged up Bears defense and a banged up Bears defense as a whole. Mooney is out for the year right now. They just confirmed that today. So that's another big blow. And he's right. If they had Herbert, I was talking to my buddy. He prefers Herbert over Montgomery, and Herbert would have. He's got speed.
Yeah,
Man.
yeah,
He's got
he would've.
speed. So it's one of those things where a lot of things could happen. But man, I'm excited about Mike. I hope he does well. I hope Zach, can come back too strong too. I don't wish anybody bad luck with injuries or with the yips or anything. I want the team to perform well. I back this team 100%, and it's because of Salah. Just like you said, Liam, it's because of Salah and JD and what they've done. I have never been this excited about a Jets team since Rex Ryan and a little bit with Bulls. But it's one of those things I can honestly say now that I love my coach. I love my GM. And I'm ready to ride this wave. Everyone's been telling me ride the wave, and I am. I'm riding the wave each week, each day, because everything could change all the damn time.
Amen, brother. Amen, man. And everything that Mike White did yesterday is all we really wanted Zach Wilson to do. Mike White was the ultimate game manager yesterday. And I've been saying this whole time. Everyone's saying, "Oh, have fun winning with an Alex Smith," or have fun like winning with a game manager. I'll take a game manager. I will take a game manager. He spread the ball to 10 different players yesterday. We were seeing the tight ends. We were seeing Elijah Moore get a touchdown. Garrett Wilson shined out again. Corey Davis, Braxton Berrios. He's just spreading the ball around, taking with a very bad defense. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But you know what? It's better than losing to a very bad defense as well.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
You can only play who you're up against. It's as simple as that. So it's just 315 yards and 3 touchdowns. He came out of the gate guns blazing, and he just looks like he's a lot more mature than Zach Wilson.
Yeah,
he could read defenses. He takes what other teams give him. And he doesn't make football too complicated. He loves his checkdowns, and that's okay. On first down, if you got to pick up a 3-yard, you got to pick up a 3-yard screen. That's what you got to do.
I agree. Special teams did very well too. Zerline in the rain kicking that 57-yarder. That's great. I know Zerline's capable of doing that, but in the rain, he has really shown me that he can step up now. Like I have been dogging this guy all year, and I will probably continue to dog him. But right now, he's proven me wrong, which I like. But he did. He'll miss your occasional stuff, and he'll make the long snaps. If he can continue to do that, he's already broken franchise records for this team as a kicker as well. Hope he just keeps it going. Just keep it going, man. Keep proving me wrong.
Yeah, man. Bam Knight made some history too.
Exactly. It seems like all these unknown guys are making more and more history now. And White last year, Knight this year, Zerline this year, and then all these rookies.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I love it.
So I mean, I think I think going forward, just keep doing the same thing. Garrett Wilson has proven that
Exactly.
he's a superstar. Elijah Moore, all of a sudden, he had such a weird press conference. Did you see his press conference where he's like
Yeah,
making love to the ball?
with the
Yeah,
football. Yeah, I mean, dudes, a lot of it's. I don't even know
dude's
right
weird,
now.
man. Weird fucking guy.
You never know, right? You never know what guys are gonna say and do. But
Yeah.
but I mean, overall, I like what the offense did with the tight ends, getting the tight ends involved. I like what the defense did at times. The first few plays were questionable. Yeah, fumbles and missed tackles, but overall, I think we got a great defense still. Special teams, I think it's there too. Boyer's a genius. I love what he's done. I love where this team is going. Yes, was it against the banged up Bears team? Yes, but that's the teams that we got to capitalize on. If we don't capitalize on them, then we're still the same old Jets, and you don't want to
Yeah.
be labeled that anymore. So
No.
we're there. We're there. All of my cousins, all my friends are texting me now saying you guys are almost for real now. I'm like, we're there, but we just got to keep proving people wrong. We got to win the big games. We got to win the games that we should win because these next 6 games aren't going to be easy. I mean, they aren't
No.
going to be easy at all. So we just got to continue to do it, man. Oh, Jeffrey, what's up, man? What do you guys think the key is to win this Sunday? You go first, Liam.
Well, I think it's going to be almost impossible to contain Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook. I think one of them, they're going to have their big plays. It is what it is. I think we need a really big game from our defensive line. I think we need Quinnen to do Quinnen things. I need JFM to do JFM things, not penalties. And then you just gotta hope that Sauce get. I don't think it's impossible, and
Yeah.
I think that I think it's going to be a pretty even matchup. I do think that Sauce is going to have some good plays too. I think DJ Reed's going to have some good plays. Win some of the maybe we get an interception or two. That'd be great. But I think asking Sauce to shut down Justin Jefferson is no easy task. What do you guys think the key?
Yeah.
If we win against backup QBs, it's an easy win. But if you lose, it's y'all. Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're getting a little bit known for now this year, and it's really frustrating. But
seems like another win that we shouldn't be enjoying.
exactly.
But anyway, I'm like Abby says here, Sauce versus Jefferson, epic. I've been looking forward to this all season.
Me too.
I really want to see how but maybe he can do it. What he did to Chase and what he's done to Tyreek Hill and Waddle. Sauce is the real deal, man. If anybody can do it, I think it's going to be Sauce. The Minnesota Vikings seem like they're a very quiet. What are they, 9-2 now?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, they're up there, but it doesn't seem like. I think they're beatable. I really do. It doesn't seem like they've been playing like really clean football. I know Kirk Cousins, he's becoming a veteran quarterback, but he's almost like a journeyman quarterback. He's almost like a McCown, like a Fitzpatrick, a little bit better. That's not a knock on any of those guys because I think both of those guys were very good quarterbacks. It's just, can he get them actually to that next level? Because it's almost a lock that they're going to be in the playoffs this year. Can they make noise in the playoff? I think is the big question. What do you think, Gino?
I mean, it's the Vikings, right? Like they are always they always will keep you until the very end. But the Cowboys exploited that, and I know people are starting to exploit them just a little bit more going down the road. For me, I think we can beat them, but like it's gonna be tough. But at the same time, it's Kirk Cousins, it's Justin Jefferson. They got a good defense and Cook, and overall, it's good. It's good. Like, and yeah, I was also just gonna mention that Matthew. Thank you for popping that in. Lost their second CB, so I mean. Injuries happen, dude. It's injuries pop up all the time, and you just never know what the funk is going to be with everybody. So yes, I think we could win, but overall, it's going to be interesting. It's just going to be interesting. Go on.
Somebody on Instagram asked me if Bam Knight is going to be our featured running back due to Michael Carter's injury. I think it's definitely going to be Bam Knight, Ty Johnson, and James Robinson.
Okay.
What are you thinking?
No, I think they'll put James Robinson back on. I think he's going to be the number 1, and I think Bam Knight's going to be number 2, and I think Ty is going to be number 3. But I mean, we've seen what a good Ty Johnson can be. He's very explosive. If he could just keep the damn ball in his hands and not fumble it, he's good. He's good when you throw it to him as well. But he's very explosive. We've seen what a good Ty Johnson can be, and also Bam Knight, how explosive he can be. She's shown you that he's very good at that. And also with James Robinson, I just think he just needs to learn the playbook a little bit more. I think he just needs to get fully healthy. I'm not losing faith in James Robinson. This is what you need. The guys to step up in this league and to be a good depth team like we are. We need people to rise to the occasion. That's what Bam Knight did. That's what Ty Johnson did when James Robinson wasn't in there and then Carter went down with his ankle. That's what we need. And we haven't had that in a very long time. So I'm not losing faith in anybody right now. They just stepped up.
Absolutely.
They just stepped up.
You know what was nice too is defense wasn't great yesterday. It was nice to finally see offense win us a game. I can't think of many games this year where the offense actually stepped up and won us a game. And they were trying to get the running game established early on. That was very clear. Michael Carter was bowling out, and then you see Mike White, like throwing his touchdown passes and just getting the offense in rhythm. I think that they're going to continue to do that this Sunday. I think that Mike White is just going to continue to take what the defense gives him. He's not like a Zach Wilson, looking to make these huge, wild, ESPN-worthy, highlight reel plays. I think, like we mentioned earlier, I think Mike White is just very comfortable taking the checkdowns, and his numbers show for that. 22 of 28. Like, dude, that's freaking fantastic. Like that's more than just competent play. That's borderline greatness play. These are great numbers right here, and that's not overreacting. That's true.
Yeah, and also the stat that I'm gonna bring up is NFL on CBS mentioned the last 2 QBs with multiple games of 300 pass yards, 3 passing touchdowns in the first 4 starts has been Mike White and Patrick Mahomes. Lately.
Yes, I saw that too. Yep.
I mean, can't argue with that. I mean, you just can't argue with that. That's fantastic. That's what you want to. Yeah. That's what you want to see. My mother-in-law's a big Mahomes fan, and she's giving me those stats too, and I'm like, hey, I can't argue with you.
Yeah, exactly. We're living in really exciting times to be a Jets fan, man. It's like these are very good numbers, and coming out of halftime, dude, he had 235 yards. He was on pace for 470 yards.
Just like last year. Last year. I know.
Yeah. They're scoring 30 points a game. Yes. It was a high scoring game. And yes, it was against the Chicago Bears. So what?
Okay. I disagree with you there, but keep going.
Well, what part do you disagree with? We could talk about that.
Well, I mean, I've been really quiet about this too, but I'm just gonna say it too. Like it is the Bears. Like they are not doing good right now. They don't have a full team. If they had a full team with Fields, that game would have been different. It would have been a little bit more challenging. But hold on. Okay. It would have been definitely a little bit more challenging. But like, did you expect? I'll ask you this before I say this. Did you expect to win? Did you expect them to win this big?
Yes.
Okay, yes. That's fair. For me.
For me, with every game, from Mike White as well.
For me, every game, I'm always going to be middle because you just never know what's going to happen in a game. So for me, that fact that I go middle and the fact that he went over what I wanted, fantastic. But I wouldn't also be surprised if he lost. I was going to go middle either way. But I'm happy that I'm being proven wrong this game. Next 2 games, we just got to see.
That's fair enough, but also we're at the part of the season where players are not really making like the sloppy mistakes. Players are in rhythm. They're comfortable.
They're getting informed. They learn the playbook a little bit more. Yeah.
Mike White hasn't started an NFL game or played an NFL game in over a year.
Yeah.
So there's always that as well. Mike White came in off the bench. after having no game experience for over a year besides preseason, and balled the F out and prove why he's Mike F. and White. So that alone speaks volumes. And you know what it is? He's just utilizing the playmakers around him. And they were bought in to make Zach's life easier, but it doesn't have to be Zach. It could just be the quarterback. I think Mike White I think he's the perfect quarterback back there because the poise that he shows is a lot more poise than Zach Wilson. The confidence and the clear head, almost kind of like a Joe Flacco. He's almost like a Joe Cool kind of guy, but he's more mobile than Joe Flacco. So I think he's the perfect quarterback for what we need right now. I'm not saying that we can't go back to Zach.
Yeah.
I see things taking a drastic turn for the worst. I almost want to say that we haven't seen Mike White up against real hard competition, but
Exactly.
I mean they beat up on the Bengals last year, and the Bengals are a good team.
They went to the Super Bowl.
He played well against the Colts last year. The Colts were pretty decent. I think this Minnesota test is going to be a very good showing for Mike White, and I think what it's going to be is we're going to find out what Mike White is really made of, and I think that we're going to see if we have possibly a franchise quarterback in Mike White moving forward. I think that we're going to see if we have a playoff contender in Mike White moving forward. I think it's going to be a really good showing for us. I think it's going to be a really big test.
Facts. I agree with you. For me, it's going to be the Vikings and Bills. Bills are supposed to be the number one team to make this Super Bowl favorites. For me, I'm not going to make it until the Vikings and Bills games are done for me to say, hey, Mike White's my quarterback. Because Bills and Vikings are different. Like they're both hot and they're both cold, but they're both playoff teams.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that's going to be a real test.
Jeffrey makes a good point here. Even against a superior defense, our receivers are too strong. Yeah, absolutely. Garrett Wilson can play under the big lights. He could play in all these different weather conditions. He's perfect for New York, man.
And Matthias, too. Good stuff.
Yep, just needed a game manager. Dude, I've been saying that. People have been bashing me. People have been bashing me. But how many times have I said I'm comfortable with Zach Wilson being a game manager? All of a sudden, a couple of weeks ago, we can't have a game manager. Why can't we? Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Both. We're not depending on our quarterback to go out there and win us the game. Just don't lose us the game. It's that simple. If Zach Wilson isn't the reason that we lost against the Patriots, Mike White's not in, and Zach Wilson starts yesterday.
And the fact that I've been saying that LaFleur, the O-line, and the quarterback have been the problem. The O-line's not the problem. LaFleur's not the problem. Mike White just executed. He just executed. Yeah. He got the tight ends more involved. He got the wide receivers more involved. That's all I've been wishing. That's all.
Yeah.
I just want people more involved. That's it. I know we keep focused on the run game. I know it's worked for us for the past and it's been doing really well because Brees Hall was there and then James Robinson has touchdown. That's great. But for me, I've seen all these teams be successful with everything. And that's what we have. We have that depth. We have the depth for the first time in a long time. And I saw it with Mike White. I was excited. And then Matthias said, remember the Sanchez Jets. Yes, exactly.
Yep. And maybe besides the offensive line, we have legit talent at every position. We have depth.
Yep. It's even the old line, like everyone's coming back.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We're not asking Mike White to be the reason that we win a game, but he's just taking the checkdowns. If you're available, he's getting you the ball, he's getting it to you in space, and he's letting you make your plays. He's letting the wide receivers do their jobs. He's letting the tight ends do their jobs. He doesn't need to throw the ball 50 yards down the field in order to make a big play. If you're open and you're 5 yards ahead of him, he's taking the little dump off and he's letting you pick up 15 yards. All that Mike White is great for is just establishing drives, getting the ball downfield. That's all he does, and he does it to perfection.
Agreed.
You know?
I agreed. Yeah. 7-4, baby. Got a lot to look forward to. But You got anything you want to add, or are you good? I'm good.
Yeah, I think we've covered it all. I mean, I think, yeah, really, you know,
Matthew, we didn't have legs. I couldn't walk. I like that. I
well,
like that. I like that.
it's true. Yeah,
But guys, we got Mike Westall coming back on the podcast for the second time on Wednesday. Tune in for that. We're excited to have him back on. He's excited to be on. We're a fan favorite of him, and everyone's a favorite of his, and we're excited to have him back on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. This has been the Victory Monday podcast with everything NYJ. And also, let's look forward to the Vikings this weekend. Great Victory Monday. Hope everyone is safe. And
absolutely.
go Jets, baby. Good times ahead.
Absolutely, man. You want to pull up the social medias?
Yes, let's do it.
All
There
right.
we go.
You can follow everything NYJ on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and of course YouTube. You could follow Gino at Italy Jet on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Snapchat. You can follow me on Instagram at official Liam Johnson. I'll give you a follow back. Follow us on Twitter at everything NYJ. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. We've had a blast. Jets beat the Chicago Bears 31-10. I want to give another special shout out to Nick Shine. Thank Nick Shine for stopping by. It's always a pleasure chatting with him. Finally, guy, that we're able to get him on the podcast. We're gonna be having more videos coming. You know, obviously, like Gino said, Mike Westhoff is coming on Wednesday night.
It's another Mike. I get it. It's another Mike. I get that.
Another Mike W. Yeah, you know, another king in New York.
Hey, he
But
is.
he is absolutely, man. But so yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll talk more Jets soon.
Go Jets.